Absolutely.
Well, once you get south of that spot, it just stops. Damage just stops. And once you get north here, Emerson Road is up there, it just stops again. So
it just came right through it. Well, we were bad, but I went to check on Mom and Marion, and oh my God, I couldn't get to her house. For trees down and power lines and all that, it just took me forever to snake my way, and I finally drove over some lines, figured I have rubber tires.
yeah, but I drove over 2 sets of yards to get home. Because the streets were.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just go this way. Yeah. I'll let you get.
Thanks for saying hi.
Gary?
Yeah.
Do you think you should report the meeting on your end? Because I don't think I have that permission because I didn't start the meeting.
It's not coming up for me first of today. Did you try it at all?
I did. I looked, yeah. But is it under the remind me where it's at?
Just something I thought I'd share with you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We got on the bottom right drain.
Oh, we're doing great.
What are you doing?
Good, I brought a phone.
You did? Oh, good. Perfect.
We have plants, I'll say, we have plants that are up to 3 times. We have plants that's down 90%. So,
Hey, what's going on?
we're trying to figure out how to stay alive.
It's normally like right there. It says like report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not there for me. Are you on your phone or are you on the computer?
I'm on the computer. I'll see if I can find somewhere else. If not, we'll just have to go with
Well, spot
Okay. Would you mind checking to make sure that the YouTube says
Hey, Amy.
Hey, how's it going?
get the product. They just can't get the product. The manufacturers shut down since COVID. So they're like, yeah. Yeah. Apparently that's why the company is set up. Yeah.
Dick, how are you? Yeah.
Got lots of paperwork. I see that. Lots of people here and a long agenda.
I noticed, yeah, that's why I grabbed the water, because I'm like, that agenda's long and there's closed sessions afterwards.
Yeah, and then they have the closed session.
Yep.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey, I'm sorry. In a zone.
I know. I've been muffled. I'm muzzled.
It's officially 5:30.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
kind of the sergeant at arms.
I know.
You're telling the boss to sit down?
Welcome everybody to Hiawatha, regular council meeting, October 21st, 2020. Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Other than number 9, we're going to remove because of conflict of timing. Okay, we got a first and a second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we're going to table chapter 22 discussion.
Yep, we're at.
We can do that now.
Okay.
Somebody can say that.
Which number is that?
I'm looking.
I know.
It's 10.
So 9 and 10 are coming out.
Mine's here.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the agenda with the changes of removing 9C and item number 10.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the consent agenda.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Citizens input, is there anybody else that folks tonight? If not, full schedule, we'll move right along. Reports, council members, myself, Kim.
I attended the water board meeting last night via Zoom. And just an update on the ground storage tank up there by Turtle Creek Park. It's been painted. And on Monday, they had scheduled a walkthrough to be completed by V&K, DNA Tanks, and Hiawatha Water Department. And then sometime this week, they're going to do a leak test, first by loading 18 inches on the floor of it, and then leave that there for a duration of time, followed by filling the tank 1 foot per hour until the tank is 3 feet from overflow. This will allow for all the stress wraps to get set slowly and not create any issues. Also, they had some discussion with possible action on the Robbins Road water main replacement, replacing approximately 4,300 feet of the 8-inch line that's currently there with a 12-inch water main. And that was based on proposed future development across the street over in Oak Brook, and then the catalyst for hopefully future growth in that area. And that's all I have.
Just briefly here in terms of the parks, I was went around town last week just kind of on a run, and you know, when it's been around to the parks, there's a lot of progress that's been made. It sounds like all of the tree removal and grinding has been completed. Kind of right now what they're doing, it sounds like, is doing a playground inspection and kind of land restoration and fencing. So hopefully within the next few weeks, barring no more snow, they should be able to make some pretty good progress on that. So.
Yeah, I just happened to be driving around today, out there on Mount Vernon Road, they built a mountain of chips. I mean, it's huge.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
These things are little files, so. Kim?
I just have a couple things that I got down on the dais in your location that I thought you might find it interesting. The first one is the snapshot of individual assistance due to ratio.
No,
Yeah.
good data.
And then last but not least, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the hugs, text, sympathy cards for my mom passing away. It's been very touching. The outpouring that I've had here at City Hall, staff, along with all of you and the business community. I'm still getting cards in the mail, whether it's at home or whether it's here. Today, I got a sympathy card from someone that I just talked to on the phone in regards to some issues they had with Horatio. Recognized, read the obituary and read my name and made the connection and sent a card today. So I'm very overwhelmed, very thankful for the community that I live in, and thank you for all the support.
Okay, well, business, so let's move right on. We've got, I will lead the city's presentation. And for the city manager of the year award. And come on up. Yeah.
So as a lot of you know, Kim was awarded the Manager of the Year award for Iowa last month. And, along with the help of you and Carrie, we kind of surprised her a little bit, with the announcement. And Carrie and I put together this quick slideshow to show you guys the video of Kim's reaction and just, some of the, wishes from the staff members. So this was just like here's what the award means and what you have to, the requirements to get the award. And then here's the video.
Supported by an Iowa senator, fellow city manager, and other professionals. Now, has worked in local government for over 20 years and has seen great success in their current roles. This manager has high regards for being a top-notch professional and being highly respected in City Hall. The award winner this year has served on the Iowa League City Chief Executive Board, the League's Policy Committee, and has been president of the Northeast Iowa Regional League. Recently, the manager was put to the test and their talent hit directly by the Horatio. Manager's council talked in depth about the rapid response and great leadership during the event. I'm honored and actually really excited to announce the 2020 Manager of the Year award is Kim Down, the Hiawatha manager.
Mayor Council, my name is Dylan Mulfinger. I'm with the City of Ojai as their city administrator, and I serve as the head of the awards committee for the Iowa City Managers Association. Here tonight to present this award to Green Down. It is a shame as we are wearing masks tonight, because one thing I know about Kim is her smile and the leadership that she brings to everything that she does, and really the great personality and being an excellent person to get along with and really work with. So I'm excited, as always, as I already said, to present the 2020 Manager of the Year Award to you, Kim. Congratulations.
This is really, really awesome and, 2020 has been quite a year, and it will continue to be quite a year. I'm hoping we make our way out of this a lot sooner than 2021. Certainly, everyone here and those that aren't here, I accept this only because of the team that I have, the people that I have that support me. I am so very blessed, and I'm blessed with people that are grateful and appreciative and show that, as a city administrator, it really comes with a lot of dedication. This position is not a 40-hour week position. And so, it's really important to have your heart here, and your heart in the community, and your heart when you're demonstrating yourself with your team, and along with our city council and mayor, as well as your business community. Every point that every person you touch, it makes a difference. And I think this shows that, and I'm just so very thankful and again very blessed for all of you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And obviously all that makes our job.
Yes, it does.
Well deserved. Okay,
Yeah, so, Fire Prevention Week proclamation, it's nice to see a lot of members of the fire department here to read this proclamation, and I'm honored to read it on behalf of Mayor Bill. So, City of Hiawatha, Iowa Mayor's Proclamation, whereas the City of Hiawatha, Iowa is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in visiting Hiawatha, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,630 people in the United States in 2017, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 357,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, where fire departments responded to more than 173,200 annually between 2013 and 2017. Whereas 2 of every 5 home fires starts in the kitchen, with 31% of those fires resulting from unattended cooking. And whereas more than half of reported non-fatal home cooking fire injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fire themselves. And whereas children under 5 face a higher risk of non-fire burns associated with cooking than being burned in a cooking fire. Whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Hiawatha residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2020 Fire Prevention Month theme, Serve Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen, effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Therefore, I, Rob Archibald, on behalf of Mayor Bill Bennett, Mayor during Fire Prevention Month 2020, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Hiawatha Fire and Emergency Services.
Good job. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8. Consider motion approving and appointing public safety chaplain.
So moved.
So while Father Meyer's coming up here, I will say that kitchen fires and cooking fires continue to be a leading cause of fire even in Hiawatha in our area. We have quite a few small kitchen fires in the apartments and places like that, so it is important caution. I'm happy to introduce to you Father Gary Meyer, and he comes to us from Charles City. He's a native of Northeast Iowa. But his last assignment was in Charles City. That's helpful to me because he experienced 2 floods when he worked there. So he is familiar with disasters. But he is going to replace Father Mark, who is left, not only as the priest at St. Elizabeth's, but also as one of our fire department chaplains. So we look forward to a long and good relationship with him and welcoming to the community.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Father.
Good to be here, happy to be able to partner with public safety and happy to do so.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, did I hear first?
Jerry had it, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 9, presentation by outside agency in fund request. NTS. Okay, you're up first. Come on up.
Not sure where I'm supposed to stand.
You can stand wherever you like.
Am I in front of something here?
You want the microphone? We need.
It's,
we have the microphone.
I think it's in the,
It's on the podium.
yeah.
Says it's on.
It says it's on. First of all, Kim, congratulations, well deserved. You know something's up, your kids are at work where they shouldn't be. I had the same thing happen last year for my birthday.
There you go.
Yes, it's worth it. All right.
29 again, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, this is always a pleasure to come to Hiawatha because you guys are always so receptive, and I always say you're my favorites. I don't say that to everybody, so I'm not going your late. But this year, I have several things to talk about that I don't usually have to talk about, and that's the COVID situation and the derecho course. So I want to be able to point out some of the things that NTS was able to do during that period of time. Not that that has anything to do with our funding, but it just elevates the fact of how important we are to the community and, you know, the things that we do that is above and beyond what our normal duties are. And you do all have sheets that were provided to you, that Cindy provided to you, and you had a chance to review, I hope. Tell me you do. Because I didn't bring packets
No,
because I sent everything to her, so.
Was in the packet, the agenda packet.
Yes, no?
It's right here, right. It was in the package that we looked at.
Okay. I'm going to go to the page that has the total number of rides that we gave this year throughout the community. And again, this is to illustrate how we are out there all the time doing things in the community. There's a list of a number of nonprofits and different activities that we've been doing over the past year. And again, you can see that we're very involved. Many of these things are contract work that brings in additional revenue for us. Some of it is pretty lucrative. Other things are what you call free rides, but we are able to do a few of those too as we pick up some revenue. I talked about our other funding sources here a little bit. United Way's at the top of that list, and I want to point out to you that in the last few years, the United Way campaigns have dwindled considerably. There's less contributions, and what that means is that there is less money coming to the United Way agencies. For the NPS program, we actually received 30% less than we have in the past, which amounts to about $83,000. So that was a big blow to us to not have received that in the last year. Greater Cedar Rapids Community Foundation, we write quite a few grants there, and we've been successful in the past. And they understand the good we do in the community and are very receptive to our needs. Our Medicare rides are a part of our funding that we get. You have to fight for every bit of that. It's very difficult sometimes to work with the MCOs and get your transportation reimbursement in the manner in which you'd like to get it. So you get it sooner or later, but a lot of times it's not exactly what you'd call on the spot. City of Cedar Rapids, of course, continues to fund us, and I am just so apologetic. Mayor Nick will kill me because I didn't put City of Marion on there. But City of Marion does support us as well. I don't know how I possibly could have omitted that, but I did. I'm going to talk about the COVID response. You know, everybody in the community, everybody in the world is experiencing things with COVID. When the city buses had to discontinue their service, this put many people who are essential care workers without a way to get to work. So just as we did after the flood and other disasters that we've had, we started getting things ready so that our buses could be back out on the street again. And we did provide rides throughout that whole time that the buses were not operational. And then we do continue to work on Saturday and Sunday to cover the needs of the city of Hiawatha, Marion, and Cedar Rapids. This is something that I guess our drivers are taking a huge chance, because you think of every person that gets on that bus it's a rotating group of people that you don't have any idea what their hygiene is like, how they're taking care of their needs. We do require masks, but of course everybody touches everything in the bus. So as soon as a busload of people gets off, the whole bus has to be sanitized again. And we've built containment things around our drivers so they feel safer. But I just applaud what they're doing, because it is, we were taking people to the nursing homes where people were dying all the time, but the essential care workers had to get to work. We have received some funding from the federal government for PPE, but there's still a lot of cost above and beyond that you just don't get funding for. It's just day-to-day stuff that you've got to have to be operational. So moving on down to the derecho, again, this is some unprecedented thing that has happened in our community and across Iowa. And I was lucky. I live in Auburn, and I had a lot of damage. It didn't damage my house too badly, but after I see what's happened in Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, and Marion, I feel so fortunate and so lucky. Again, our buses were out as soon as we could possibly get out. And when I say buses, I should say more vans, because we are much more nimble and ready to respond to these different kinds of emergencies, because vans can get around places that the buses can't. The Cedar Rapids city buses were able to navigate, of course, many of the streets, but we were able to get our vans relatively close to a place where we had pickups. And people would maybe have to walk a couple blocks to get to us, but we could take them from there to the hospital or wherever they worked. So we're extremely, really, really proud of what we've done in particular instances. One of the things that I don't have on this list here, and something I want to talk about that's coming up, in the next year we're going to move into a kind of a technology age, if you will, So now let's go to the fact sheet, we get to the business now, and where I'm at a disadvantage, because I can usually see your faces and see how you react. And I can usually just kind of play it, you know, especially with Mr. Olson. No, but I'm not just kidding, but I do, it's an advantage to be able to see your faces, and I do want that, but we've got the rides here that we're gonna look at, and the total number of rides last year is down somewhat, and it's because of COVID and the duration. Let's face it, those things have taken a toll on everything. But we, about 4,180 rides last year in the community. That's both in and out. I've broken that down so you can see how many rides go in, how many rides are going out. So the total number of rides times the cost for us to provide that ride, it cost us about almost $100,000 last year. $99,297 to be exact. So then when you take away the fares, we come up with about $2,500 there, deducted off of the $99,000 and $74,000 that I got to come up with this year to finish funding and so that's kind of a lower figure than we've had in the past, but unfortunately that's the way it is. It just has gone down. Last year you were very generous. You rounded off the figure and actually increased it a little bit above the 5% that I had asked for. So I love the figure from last year. Like asking for a 5% again for this upcoming year to be considered in your annual budget. I hope that's modest and that it'll be something that you can entertain. And I guess I'd ask if you had any questions now.
How does the process work now? Do they call at the time of service, or do they schedule ahead of time, or?
They schedule 24 hours in advance. Yes.
So when you switch to Via, how will that
It'll
change?
be an on-demand thing, just like Uber. You just pick up the phone.
I imagine that'll be much more efficient.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's going to be really streamlined, and it'll cost less. It'll take, it'll actually probably create a job deletion, but it's going to be so much more efficient and less costly because we'll be able to plan our routes in such a way that we're not overlapping.
Yeah.
Just crossing.
That's great to hear.
If you refresh my recollection, was it 10,500 we gave last year?
Yes, that's correct. Which, one item on that, the resolution still shows 10,500. We need to amend it if we want to do the 11,025.
We would.
The extra 5%, I'll just change it.
Okay.
On the resolution.
I'll make a motion for 11,025.
Yeah, second. One question I had, how much, I was curious, I mean, you talk about cleaning and putting up barriers, how much of expenses is that increase in your bottom line, I guess?
A lot of that was covered by the PPE.
Okay.
Money that we received from the federal government. Basically all of that within the buses, we pretty much taken care of the shields and all of that. So the driver gets in on the right-hand side of the bus. And so we were able to build something around them and help them have more safety.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for 11,025. Roll call, please.
Amy Wickendall,
Aye.
Jerry Monaco,
Aye.
Steve Osborne,
Aye.
Rob Archibald,
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you, Kay. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. EDC's presentation by Mr. Kurt Nelson. How are you tonight?
Oh, just awesome. Just awesome. What an awesome year, right? And let me add on to Kim. I mean, since I founded this organization 18 years ago, I've been working with city and state governments all that time. And without a doubt, the easiest and most cordial person to work with in the state is you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can send emails to any of the other ones, but not get an answer back for a
Wow.
Globally. So they're gonna be up, if they can ingest it, they'd be up 4 times. And we're working pretty hard with them. So we're working with businesses for strategically, how do you stay alive, how do you restructure, how do you keep moving forward, to other ones, which is how do you deal with all of the rush of everything that you've got. So for us, it's kind of, where we were a little more centered before, the spectrum is really, really wide. Something else, so in nearly all of the clients that we work with got PPP funding, so a lot of that PPP funding came to the corridor, which was great. I think probably some of you are on our newsletter that goes out every night. We've been doing it since COVID started. I think we're the one consistent now vehicle that goes out every night. It goes out to about 4,100 people. Still today, we get about 700 or 800 opens a day, and it's just a curated program of all the different programs for COVID, and then we added derecho to the list, so then you had all the different derecho stuff. And so, thank you for your part of the funding to make something like that possible. Because I think Christy, she's done a marvelous job with that. I think if we look forward to, as we look at our businesses, and I'll talk a little bit about your Marion or your Hiawatha businesses here in a second, but I think next year is going to be an interesting year because I think we're going to see some additional fallout from the impact of this year. I think we're going to see some additional upside. I think our team right now is kind of uniquely focused on the skill set for this. This is kind of right up our alley on the strategic planning side. And something I think that the cities need to understand, and they maybe don't, is that we do facilitate strategic planning for non-client companies. So like for Bergen ADB, for Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust, for Litch Dallas, for United Way, for Tanager Place, for University of Healthcare, for Orchestra Iowa, for now Washington County Health Organization. Julie, who works on our team, does strategic planning and facilitation. So if you have companies in your area that as you do your outreach programs that need help trying to understand from a strategic planning standpoint how they can move forward, we have those resources. Your money doesn't go there. We charge for them, and that's one of the ways we help fund what we do. We have about $1 million a year budget, right? So we fund some of what we do on a fee basis for some of these areas, but just know that that's available to your community and the companies in your community. Specific to you, we added DAD manufacturing this year, so you're familiar with DAD. And so we got involved with them this year, helped them with an expansion plan, which got them all new customers this year, which worked out great because their other customers kind of sagged it. So actually they're doing fine this year because they got new customers. The goal for DAD is to significantly grow and diversify that business. And so they've been great, and that's kind of where some of your money has gone. So it's great to DAD this year. That fundamentally would pay more than 100%. Report, folks, they aren't doing quite so well this year, so employment over here is down, but they've got some good programs coming for next year, and they're fine, they're stable, and you see them grow. Ready Wireless, you may not know, but they sold this year. So here's what you need to be thinking about with Ready Wireless. They don't need as much facility as they have out here, but, and I just talked to Dennis, and he said, so we may need a smaller facility, so I'm not quite sure what that means, but you might all want to reach out and see if you can keep them here. Because they did well in the purchase, so they sold part of the business and so forth. So it's still a viable business, and I think you'd love to still keep them here. Mobile Demand is doing really pretty well. I would say they'll be pretty close to that this year. We helped them hire a new VP of Sales and Marketing. I actually was doing that role for them in January for about 60, 70 days, right before COVID. While we hired someone because they lost their VP of Sales and Marketing. So they're doing well. So I think you should expect to see good growth out of them going forward. Channel Fusion, I don't know if you talked to Palmers much, but 2020 is going to be his best year ever. So that's good news for you. And we've worked with Palmers in the past. And donate the money to us, invest it in us, and ask for something back. That's great. And, you know, you got folks like Crystal Group, Ready Wire, world class, JP, Gasway, business that will support us, and that's great. We appreciate it. It's been a tricky year for us on the funding side. You know, Cedar Rapids has been cutting away at their funding. Obviously, they have some issues, and some of our other funders. So I think we'll probably be fine this year. I'm just going to ask you to give us the same 12,000 you've given us in the past, and not asking for any kind of an increase. Take questions.
As always, Kurt, your group does a fantastic job, and we're very pleased to be working with you.
I'd like to say, yeah, Kurt, you've really helped Rapids Reproductions. I mean, we went through a time of transition and so forth, and you gave us some guidance, and very appreciative.
Well, thanks for cleaning up the trail. I put a couple thousand miles on that trail. If I understand it, now I had a chainsaw in my hand for about 2 weeks, but you guys had that trail open like immediately out of here? Because I had other fucking folks that ride. And it looks wonderful out. It's just other last week.
Keep riding.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Okay, consider resolution crediting financial support for FY 2021 to 2022 schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Mokel,
Aye.
Steve Dodson,
Aye.
Rob Archibald,
Aye.
Dick Olson,
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Okay, C is on the table, and D.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Our presentation is by Mark.
Obviously, I'm not Pat Callahan. I just found out 10 minutes ago that I would be doing it. My presentation will not be as smooth as Kay and Kurt's.
I think it'll be smoother than past.
Certainly
Okay.
smoother than Pat. But it's never- You know, before I make the pitch to the council, I also want to echo what others have said tonight. You have an outstanding city administrator. But those of you that know her like I do know she's even a better person. So Kim, congratulations.
Yeah.
As you all know, HEDCO is a very important organization in our community. We're out there to support all the businesses that are here, but also try to attract new businesses to Hiawatha. Hiawatha has a great track record for bringing in new businesses, particularly situated in the community along 380. And I've heard from numerous folks that what makes it easy to work with Hiawatha is the folks in this building. This is not a barrier for the facilitator. This has obviously been an incredibly challenging year for HEDCO because we can't meet in person, or we haven't met in person, and obviously our businesses are struggling. So we're trying to reach out to them, support them the best we can. Obviously, that takes money to be able to do that. Although I think we have an outstanding State of the City presentation this year. For those of you who had an opportunity to watch that, I thought it was really well done by the folks at Metro. The mayor did an outstanding job, and I thought the format with Pat, question, answer, was really good. And so I suspect, who knows, if we're going to end up having to do that again this year. We don't know what's going to happen by some
have any questions. I do want to echo your sentiment. Yes, the state of the city was very well done this year. And, you know, if we have to do it again the same way next year, I don't see that as a bad thing, but I do hope COVID is wrapping up by then, so.
Agreed.
And, I would like to thank anybody for the awesome presentation, yeah.
Yes.
But, I'm glad you came and supported back.
I'm always cleaning up. I don't mind doing it. Yeah.
He owes you. This is an easy decision, so.
Yeah, this is, benefits to the Iowa.
Oh, my God.
We started more effective momentum. There's no reason to.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Okay.
Well, on behalf of Petco, we thank you for all your support.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, consider resolution pledging financial support for FY 2021 to 2022 schedule.
So moved.
Roll call.
Al Archibald. Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Table 10, table 11. Hiawatha Public Safety and Training Facility Project. A, consider resolution approving change order number 4.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
B, consider resolution approving change order number 5.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
And C, consider resolution awarding hard access contract to CEC.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Number 12, 2019 Midtown Utility and Street Project. A, consider resolution approving partial payment estimate number 7.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
And B, consider resolution approving balancing change orders number 4.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
And C, consider resolution accepting project and final pay estimate number 8.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Number 13, 2020 Turtle Creek Park Phase number 1. A, consider resolution approving partial payment estimate number 1.
So moved.
Discussion?
Looking good out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Number 14, grinding and trees and tree removal in parks, RFP number 1, projects 4, 5, and 6. A, consider resolution approving partial pay estimate number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
They moved fast.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
Especially considering what the damage was after that storm. That's just night and day. It's amazing.
When you have the right equipment.
That's the key right there. Yeah.
roll call.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
And B, consider resolution approving change order number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Al Archibald.
Aye.
Number 15, 2018 Hiawatha Sewer Expansion and Force Main Replacement Project. A, consider resolution approving balancing change order number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
And B, consider resolution accepting project and final pay estimate number 4.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
16, 2019 Centerpoint Road Improvements, Blair's Road and Clark Street project. A, consider resolution approving partial pay estimate number 5.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
And D, consider resolution approving balancing change order number 3.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
C, consider resolution accepting project and final pay estimate number 6.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Number 17, 2020 Hiawatha Sidewalk Improvement Project. A, consider resolution approving partial pay estimate number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Got a lot of work done pretty quick.
Yeah.
A lot of orange cones done down that street pretty quick.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Number 18, Hiawatha Public Library Expansion and Renovation Project. A, consider resolution acknowledging the library board's resolution 20-50 and declining change order number 35.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
And B, consider resolution acknowledging the library board's resolution 20-51 and authorizing change order number 36.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
C, consider resolution acknowledging the library board's resolution 2052 declining change order 37.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
D, consider resolution acknowledging the library board's resolution 20-53 and authorizing change order 37R-1.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
E, consider resolution acknowledging library board's resolution 20-54 and authorizing change order number 38.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
F, consider resolution acknowledging library board's resolution 20-55 and declining change order 39.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
And we're at
G.
Yep.
Which one? G, yeah. Consider resolution acknowledging the library board resolution 20-56 and declining change order number 40.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
H, consider resolution acknowledging the library's board resolution 20-57 and authorizing change order number 41.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Roll call.
Carl Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Aye. Consider resolution acknowledging library board resolution 20-8 and authorizing change order number 42.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Carl Archibald.
Aye.
Number 19, consider resolution approving Blair Strait and Edgewood Road Northeast Project 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Number 20, consider resolution approving the partial release of a development agreement by and between the city of Hiawatha and Northwood Development LLC, Area Green Grove Commission.
So moved.
Roll call.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Number 21, employee benefit renewal. A, consider resolution approving rewarding of employee health insurance, dental insurance, and flexible spending account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
22, consider resolution consisting to the inclusion of property located on the city Hiawatha, Iowa, in Ryan's urban renewal area.
So moved.
Second.
I have some discussion on that. I'm sure it's fine, but just for my clarification, it looked like we were granting them the property for our purposes of Tower Terrace, but retaining the rights that belongs to us.
Correct, you understood that correctly.
Okay. It just seemed like,
I know, it's in the process
Government process.
of bonding our dollars, you have to have it in an urban renewal plan.
right,
For the city of Providence to participate in the Tower Terrace interchange.
Right.
They'll have a share that they're willing to pay for as well. So for them to be able to do it, it has to be able to borrow against. They have to be, their plan has to show that area. But it doesn't mean that they're gonna capture any of the value from that property. And that, we put a little caveat in there, that they wouldn't put it within the TIF district.
Right.
If they did that, and that allows them the power to borrow against that. In the
Okay.
TIF district, where we're not allowing that, and that won't be a part of their document. That's just the bonding rules that fall into place in the permanent renewal plan.
Okay, got a first and second, roll call.
Carl Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Number 23, possible closed session for Iowa Code 21.5 to discuss strategy and with council and matters president-elect allegations with litigation and minute where disclosed would be likely to
Prejudice.
and the position of the government body and the delegation. So, going into closed session,
Make a motion to go into closed session.
I second.
roll call.
Carl Archibald.
Aye.
Dick Olson.
Aye.
Amy Wickendall.
Aye.
Jerry Moinkle.
Aye.
Steve Dodson.
Aye.
Okay.